Hey guys, Michael B. the Game Genie here, and welcome to my February update of my NES Complete Collection Chronicles. So everybody, welcome back to another episode of my NES Complete Collection Chronicles. This month's episode is brought to you by the kindness of friends. Specifically, the games I got this time around came from two friends. One is a new friend that met over Facebook and was kind enough to donate some games to me, while the other set of games actually came from an old friend from YouTube, one of my earliest friends who we worked out an agreement with. Let's start with the donation. First off, the donation comes from a new friend I met over Facebook, over my Facebook fan page. A guy by the name of Kyle Western reached out to me and said, hey, I think I've come across a couple games that I noticed that you need for your collection, and I really want to donate them to you. And you know what? That's awesome, man. You know, so many people have done that over the last little while. You guys have really helped out. It's not necessarily easy to find stuff here anymore, and thanks to you guys, I've been able to continue my collection, and I really super appreciate it. So first off, Kyle, I want to say thank you so much. Let's show you the games that Kyle gave to me. First up is a game that... it's one of the Konami games I was always missing, and for some reason I never came across it. It's not a hard game to find, but just one I never came across, and that's Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge. Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge is an interesting racing game on the NES. Most racing games are from a top-down perspective, and done pretty well on the NES. This one does like this semi-realistic first-person view, and the track is kind of done in this kind of like FX chip style, but honestly, it's not really good. This is one of the times Konami has failed on the NES, which isn't very often. Surprisingly, yes, this is not a great Konami game and not a great racer. I've never been a fan of first-person view in racing anyways. I always like to see the car, but hey, that's just my opinion. Next up is a game I'm actually really excited about. To be honest, it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I love playing this sport, and I've loved watching this sport on TV, so I'm very excited that I have my first Nintendo game of the sport, as weird as it is. Magic Darts. Magic Darts, believe it or not, I've actually become addicted to darts recently. Like, I love playing it myself. For some reason, I just find myself watching it on TV, and like we're talking about like 15 minutes. We're talking about I see it, next thing I know an hour's gone by and I've still been watching darts. Ridiculous, I know, but anyways, that's beside the point. Magic Darts is a very fun NES game. You get to choose your character. You can be standard humans, or you can be some kind of zany characters like an alien. I'm not 100% sure how to play it yet. Throwing the darts is based on a weird combination of centering your dart, then choosing do you want to go high or low on the board, and then also you have to choose your power for the, I guess, the accuracy of the throw. I'm not 100% there yet, but I found I picked it up pretty good and I had fun playing. I don't know if I'll be able to double in, double out, but single in, single out, I managed to actually get through the game. Last up from the games Kyle sent along to me is one that I'm very excited to finally have. It's one I've always wanted, but one that I can't play. I, in fact, don't have the attachment necessary to play it. I don't know if I'll ever find a copy, especially not here in Newfoundland. But it's the first time I've ever seen the card. Very excited to add it to my collection. Miracle Piano Teaching System. Miracle Piano Teaching System. Well, I don't have a lot to say about it. Unfortunately, I don't have the Miracle Piano, so I can't play it yet. From what I've seen, it seems interesting. It's straightforward. I mean, there's not much you can say about it. It's a piano teaching system on the NES. It is what it is. So those are the games that Kyle donated to me. Thank you very much, Kyle. I really appreciate that. It's great getting to talk to you a little bit over my Facebook fan page. You know, it's so much fun. I love my fan page. I love meeting new people reaching out to me, talking, and we get to talk back and forth and share our love of video games. But the next lot of games actually comes from one of my longtime friends on YouTube. In fact, he's one of the first people I really reached out to and connected with over YouTube, and that's my bud, Weekend Game Guy. Chris. You obviously know Chris, Weekend Game Guy. He used to do an excellent series called Weekend Game Guy, a load of reviews, kind of like the Angry Video Game Nerd, but based around this really nice, humble guy, Mr. Rogers-esque. And he also does the podcast with me, Playing with Power, going all the way back to when it was the Newfoundland Gamer podcast with Keeb. I don't know how a guy from North Carolina ended up on the Newfoundland Gamer podcast, but there he was. Anyways, for those of you who follow Weekend Game Guy, which you should, lately he's been selling off his collection. You know, he's got some life responsibilities and really taking a hard look at what's important to him. And while he loves video gaming, maybe having physical copies of all the game wasn't one of those things. So Chris has been excellent in reaching out to me and finding out what games I needed and, you know, kind of selling them back and forth. So Chris took a look at my collection and he said, well, there's 2 games here I have. One's complete in box, so it's probably going to be a little pricier. But there's one I've got that I know you need. So first up is that game, and it's another Konami game that for some reason I just didn't have in my collection. It's not an uncommon game, it's not rare, it's just one I never had. But the great thing is, a lot of people have reached out to me and said, I can't believe you don't have this game. And then have either sent it or tried to sell it to me, and it actually turns out to be the second part. And it was always the first part I was missing. Now I can finally scratch that one off the list. Track and Field. Track and Field, easily one of the games on my list that everybody looks at and says, how does he not have Track and Field? I really love the original Track and Field. This is a ton of zany fun. This looks... I never had this as a kid, so I can't really say that it's a fun 2-player game, but it looks like it's a fun 2-player game. This looks like something you'd have a lot of fun going head on against somebody else. From what I played, a little bit, I really had a really good time. It's pretty straightforward. I got as far as kind of the, I guess it's the skeet shooting, and I didn't really understand how to play that one. But the actual track and field type activities, I actually had a lot of fun playing. Before I get to the last game I have to show you here today, I want to tell you the sale with Chris was actually a lot bigger than what you're going to see here just from the games I needed. I don't think anybody understands what Chris's collection was actually like. He had a ton of games and a lot of really cool stuff complete in box. So when we're doing this, it's kind of hard to justify him sending up 2 games to me and me buying 2 games from him, because shipping for some reason from North Carolina to Newfoundland is insane. We're talking like 40 to 60 bucks, so you really try to maximize that package. So I took a look at his collection and there were a couple complete in box games I wanted. I don't necessarily collect complete in box, but there's a few games I really want to have. I know, it's a gateway. Eventually I'm going to end up having to have everything complete in box, but these are ones that were very important to me. First up is one of my favorite games of all time, and easily my favorite game on the NES, Mega Man 2. Oh yeah, I'm very excited about this. The Mega Man 2 box isn't in amazing shape, but hey, it's complete, and it came at the right price. Anybody who collects NES complete in box, or anybody who collects NES, knows that the Mega Man games have gotten really pricey, so it's cool to get this one complete in box. Even if it's a little damaged, at least I have that part of my childhood back. The next complete in box game that Chris gave me that I'm very excited about is one I actually didn't play at all when I was a kid, but as an adult, I absolutely fell in love with it. It's easily one of my favorite games on the NES. Sunsoft Batman. Man, I am so excited about Sunsoft Batman. I mean, this game is in just amazing shape. Like, honestly, the box looks like it was basically just unwrapped from the cellophane. It's in beautiful condition, and easily one of my favorite games now. So excited to have one complete in box. So the last game I got off Chris is one that I knew he had, but I actually wasn't even going to buy because I knew it was complete in box. And like I said, I don't really collect complete in box. I really don't want to spend that extra money just to get a game I need for my collection. So much so that when I found out that he was selling it, I actually offered it up to another guy on over Twitter by the name of Ness Payne. So I offered it to Ness Payne and then had second thoughts and said, actually, you know what, I'm going to get this myself. So I reached out to Chris, and Chris, being the awesome guy he is, hooked me up with a really good bro price. Not only did I get this game complete in box, but I actually paid less for it than I would pay for a loose copy, so it's very exciting. And finally, I have this very difficult to find game in my collection, Swamp Thing. I'm going to be very honest for you, it takes a lot for me not to like an NES game. And I was very surprised that I didn't like Swamp Thing. I mean, here it is based off a classic, movie type character, and
it looked like it just had so much promise. It's a side-scrolling action platformer, which is right in my wheelhouse, but man oh man, does this game stink. Believe me, the first time I played it, the first thing I did was actually write my buddy Matt, the LJN Defender, and say, yes, Swamp Thing needs to be on your list for innocent until proven guilty. Not for the good reason. This is one of the first times I will tell you up front, Swamp Thing is not a good game. Sure, it's rare, it's uncommon, and it's getting a little bit pricey, but doesn't hold any value once you play it, because it is pretty terrible. And I've really tried to like it. Like, I've forced myself to play through it. I got through the first level, and nope, I get to this one point where there's this huge chasm, and I don't know what to do. I can't get past it. I just keep falling in the chasm. I do not have the ability to jump over. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, what it is, but man, I really have a hard time enjoying this game. Like, I beat Jekyll and Hyde on my first try, but I can't do anything with this game. I don't know what to say. You can play Swamp Thing for yourself, but at that price, and for the quality of game I've got so far, definitely not worth it.
So guys, that's everything I got this time. I want to say thank you again to Kyle and Chris. Thank you for the great deals. And Kyle, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Anyways, what you guys are here for, the update. For those of you following along at home, last time I had 661 NES games. This time I added 5 new games, which brings my total to 666 NES games. 666. That's an ominous number. Anyways, that's 666 NES games, which means there's only 102 NES games remaining, according to the North American collection on Nintendo Age. Yeah, I'm getting pretty close. I was kind of hoping that I would get under that 100 mark this time around, and what are the odds that you end up on 666? I think someone actually mentioned that to me in the comments. Last time in the last video, they were like, I hope you only get 5 games next time so you hit 666. I don't know if you're satanic or you just thought it was funny. I don't know what the deal is there, but I did end up on 666, so weird coincidence. Anyways, guys, that's everything I got this time. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks a lot again for following along and watching me try to complete my NES collection. I really appreciate it. Anyways, this is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time. "666 El Diablo." Did you ever see that interesting movie? It was one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's last movies. I think it was around 1999. It was called End of Days, where they actually explained 666 wasn't the number because 666 was actually turned upside down, which represented 1999. Yeah, there's all kinds of weird theories about that. I don't know if there's any mirror to it. It's just very interesting. Whenever I see 666, that's what you think of. If someone could explain the history to me, feel free, but I just think it's stupid.